Hello and welcome. This is Faceless Opinion. Wondering what I've got myself into? Welcome you back to Skyrim Month, the series where we go over Skyrim related topics throughout the entire month of November. And for today, we have another top 10 list for you. This time, it will be about the worst quest in the game. Makes sense, since I already talked about the quest that I considered to be the best. Now, what am I qualifying as a bad quest? If it is boring, pointless, underwhelming, stupid, or if I hate the resolution to it. No Radiant quests will be on this list because they are Radiant quests. They are not meant to be interesting. With that out of the way, let us talk about the quest that I consider to be the worst. Number 10. Unearthed. Out of all the quests introduced in the Dragonborn DLC, this one is tedious to complete. How so? You have to excavate a burrow that is completely buried by ash and sand, and trust me, this will take time and a lot of money. This is the whole quest in a nutshell. You pay some money to hire some miners, then you wait until you get a message from your business partner saying you need to come back because we have a problem. You come back to find out that miners got killed by Draugr, so you have to deal with them. You do that and you got to pay more money to get more miners and hire some mercenaries. Then you wait again, and the same thing happens again and again after that. It gets annoying real fast. The only reason this quest isn't higher up the list is because you get some really good loot from the burrow. Azadale's armor, a dragon priest mask, learning the cyclone shout, a black book, and potentially a new follower, depending if you didn't kill Rattlus. If you did, I won't blame you. That bastard does owe us 11,000 gold. Just saying. Number 9. The Forsworn Conspiracy and No One Escapes Sidna Mine. We have a 2-for-1 right here. Some people might disagree with me for putting either of these two quests on the list, but this is my list, and I don't like either of them. In the Forsworn Conspiracy, you're forced to investigate the murder of a woman in the Markarth marketplace. During said investigation, you are being hounded by both secret Forsworn agents living in the city and by corrupt guards who want you to stop looking into things. Upon discovering that Thonar Silverblood, owner of the Markarth treasury, has the leader of the Forsworn as his personal puppet, doing his dirty work. However, you get arrested by the dirty guards and get flung into Sidna Mine, where you have to decide whether or not you want to kill the king of the Forsworn, Modonok. Then you escape Sidna Mine and the quest gets resolved. I personally don't care for the story in this quest. The moment you enter Markarth for the first time, the quest becomes active and you aren't able to decline it. I just came into the city to sell some stuff, not get involved with your petty issues. Then we have the resolution of the quest. Either you side with Modonok or Thonar. I do not want to side with either of them. Thonar is the asshole that got you arrested to begin with and has had people who he dislikes either killed or imprisoned, while for Modonok, you have to quote-unquote join the Forsworn. First off, no, I don't want to. Besides, even if you do join him, the Forsworn will still attack you regardless while you're out traveling. Not to mention, when the Forsworn escape, they kinda kill any and all civilians that get in their way, leaving Markarth a mess. Both of these options are pretty lousy, I just don't want to do it. Number 8. The Horn of Jurgen Windcaller. In my eyes, when it comes to the main questline, I think the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller is filler, but not at the same time. Mainly because it teaches you the final word to the unrelenting Force Shout, and it also progresses the story by introducing the Dragonborn to the Blades, for better or worse, depending on how you view them, so it has some degree of relevance. But I don't know, it feels, compared to the other main story, doesn't feel necessary. Like, what significance is there in fetching the horn? I know it's a trial by the Greybeards and all, but why do I need to fetch it? Or better yet, why do the Greybeards want it? I know it's important to them and all, but it doesn't really help the current dragon problem. You could, in theory, do a couple more quests in the main story without having to go back to the Greybeards to give them the horn, at least until you need to speak to Parthenax. Besides, I hate having to do the stone puzzle where you have to whirlwind sprint past the stones and run to the open gates. I always had issues doing that, and it is the bane of every playthrough I do. Also, how the hell did Delphi manage to steal the horn? She would have needed to get past the stone puzzle, flaming floor, and numerous of enemies in between. Yeah, I don't picture her being able to do any of that. Especially the stone puzzle, since the only way to solve it is with the whirlwind sprint. And when you complete the puzzle, the gate will remain open. Something isn't adding up here. Number 7. The Gift. This quest is only available if you have the Dawnguard DLC and if you side with the Volkihire vampires. Basically, if you are married, you can turn your spouse into a vampire. That's it. That's the quest. I don't see the point in wanting to turn your husband or wife into a vampire. Let's say, for argument's sake, that your spouse is also a follower too, and you transform them into one. Sure, they may have some advantages like frost resistance and drain life, but they also gain a weakness to fire and cannot be healed by restoration spells. Personally, I consider turning a follower into a vampire to be a bad decision, mainly because the fire damage is more common than ice damage. Not to mention, if you want a vampire follower, why not choose Serana? Objectively speaking, she is a better follower compared to whoever you choose to be a vampire. If your spouse isn't a follower, then it makes it even more pointless. And no, you can't turn your kids into vampires. Why would you want to do that? Number 6. Season Unending. Remember when I said the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller feels like filler? Well, Season Unending is filler. Why I say it is one is that the whole premise of it is to have the civil war between the Imperial Legion and the Stormcloaks to have a temporary truce long enough for the dragon threat to be resolved. Now, if you finish the Civil War questline beforehand, then this quest is skipped altogether. But if you are in the middle of completing the Civil War, that is where the problems arise. I remember the first time I played Skyrim, I had to do this quest. I was on the Imperial side, and I almost finished the Civil War quest. All I had to do was take Windhelm, but I made the stupid decision of doing this quest, and long story short, the Legion lost both Falkreath and Markarth to the Stormcloaks, prolonging the Civil War and making me take control of cities that I should not have lost to begin with. Fuck this quest. Number 5. The Jagged Crown. In principle, I understand why this quest exists. I can understand why the Legion and Stormcloaks would want to get their hands on the Jagged Crown. If either side had the crown, it would in theory sway the local Nords from one side to another. But the issue with this quest comes after. The crown isn't mentioned at all after you retrieve and give it to your expected side. It is never shown. You don't see Ulfric or Elisif wearing it. So it really makes me wonder why the hell we went through all this work to collect a crown that's supposed to play a big role in the entire Civil War, but is never seen nor heard from again. Hindsight-wise, this quest is utterly meaningless and doesn't do anything in the long run. It is a waste of time. Number 4. No Stone Unturned. The Unusual Gems. The Stones of Baron Zaya. Whatever you want to call them. Compared to the other collection quests, this one isn't the worst, but by no means is it one that should be completed. 24 stones don't seem that hard to find. You can easily look it up and find all the locations of where they are. All you have to do is go to where they are, whether it be in a dungeon, palace, or household. It is really time consuming, but you can get 23 of them with no hassle. One stone is an absolute pain to get, and that'll be the one that's in Proudspire Manor. The house the player can buy on Solitude. A house that costs 25,000 gold to get and can't lockpick to get to the stone. But hey, the reward should be worth collecting all the stones, right? No, there's more. I have to go into a Falmer cave to collect a ground that goes with it. Fun! This reward should be worth it, right? What? It isn't? You're only given an effect that lets you find more gemstones and that's it? No money? No unique items? Nothing? Not to mention the crown is relegated to being a display piece? You aren't even allowed to keep the damn thing? I went through all this time and effort and dropped 25,000 gold for this. Not worth it. Number 3. Destroy the Dark Brotherhood. Yes, if you did not know, you can destroy the Dark Brotherhood. You may be wondering how. Well, when Astrid kidnaps you and tells you that you need to kill one of the 3 captives, you actually can attack and kill Astrid. Upon her death, you can report it, and you actually are given an objective of destroying the Dark Brotherhood. I'm willing to admit that sounds like an interesting encounter to have, but I recommend not doing it. You lose out on an entire quest line, no trophies for doing their respective missions, no Shadow Mirror, no Spectral Assassin Summon, no Cicero's a follower, no contracts to get gold. That also includes the 20,000 gold bounty you get for offing the Emperor, while for the reward you get for destroying it is only 3,000 gold. If you ask me, that doesn't really balance out. Not to mention, I would like to point out how come there is a Destroy the Dark Brotherhood mission, but not one to destroy the Thieves Guild? Not saying that I would destroy the Thieves Guild, I'm just saying. Both are shady groups that have done their fair share of villainy. It would only be fair, even though if it was a thing, it would be on the list as well. Number 2, a return to your roots. I feel like I don't really need to explain this one. Any Skyrim gamer worth their salt will know why this quest is universally disliked. The infamous quest in Blackreach where you have to travel throughout the entire area trying to find Crimson Nerd roots. Then you deliver them. You receive an effect where you are crafting potions, then there's a 25% chance of making a duplicate potion. This is hands down the worst thing to collect. Far worse than the Stones of Baranziah. This quest is garbage, but I'm fairly sure that a lot of you are surprised that this is not number 1. Trust me when I say that I have a quest that is hated a lot more than this one. Before that, let's go over some honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions. A new debt. Basically, you are forced to pay someone's debt to a loan shark. Refusing to do so will result in thugs being sent after you. Fuck you, Mogrel. I'm not giving you 1,000 gold. Yes, I know it's not much, but I don't want to do it. It's my money, and I need it now. Blood on the Ice. I just think this is a boring quest, out of the few times that it's actually worked for me, because this one is a bit buggy. But besides that, for a murder mystery, it was really lackluster. I don't understand the butcher's motives that well. I think it had something to do with his dead sister or something. Like I said, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. Wasn't that compelling. The Dark Brotherhood Forever. Yes, I know I said I wasn't going to put any Radiant quest on this list, but this is the only exception, mainly because this quest will auto-repeat upon completion, making it indefinite, unlike the other Radiant quests out there. The Night Mother is the precursor to Preston Garvey. Instead of another settlement that needs your help, there's another soul you need to send to the void. Number 1, Parthenax. This right here is the worst quest in all of Skyrim, where Delphine orders you to kill Parthenax. Parthenax, the wise dragon, the one who taught you and gave you valuable information on how to defeat Alduin. He played a bigger role in helping the Dragonborn than the Blades ever could. That's why many players have an issue with the Blades. They make the argument that Parthenax was complicit in many atrocities, thus is the reason he needs to be slain. However, I think Parthenax says it best. What is better, to be born good or to overcome your evil nature through great effort? That is why many people will not kill Parthenax, leading to the Blades refusing to help the Dragonborn. If you decide to side with the Blades and kill him, it doesn't really do much. The Blades don't really do anything of note. So literally, you kill Parthenax for no reason. And I think the worst part is, since this is a main quest, albeit an optional one, I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda decided in Elder Scrolls 6, the Dragonborn killing Parthenax is canon. I hope that isn't the case. I hope that I am wrong. This is why, right here, this is the worst quest in Skyrim. Period. Alright, that should do it. That is the top 10 worst quests in Skyrim. Do you agree with my choices? Do you think a certain quest should have been on the list? Are you upset with some of my choices? Comment down below. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and make sure you subscribe for more Skyrim Month content. Until next time, I will catch you all on the flip side.